I love to create mystery. Is it true that only the strong survive? A thought I'd like to think about for a minute. We've all known some really strong companies, right? Many of you have known some strong companies. Does anybody remember Kodak? Talk about a strong company. At one point in time, they were the most famous and most revolutionary company in the world when it came to photography and videography. They sponsored Disneyland. However, they failed to adapt to the advances in technology with the advent of the digital camera. And they didn't recognize the shift that their customers had made to digital photography. And by 2004, when they finally realized that they weren't meeting their customer needs, it was too late. Anybody remember Blockbuster from the 90s? Talk about strong numbers, right? They had 9,000 video rental stores. They had 84,000 people that were employed worldwide. And wait, I'm on number 4 now. Number 4, they had 65 million customers. How many of us wouldn't like to just have a fraction of those, right? However, according to Thomas.net, they were actually unwilling to even contemplate the shift in their customers' needs. And by 2010, they filed bankruptcy with over $900 million in debt. I could go on. You guys could probably think about some companies that were pretty strong and they're no longer with us, right? But here's the thing. These companies, they paid the ultimate price because they weren't able or they were unwilling to adapt to disruptions, to advances in technology, and to shifting customer needs. So, is it true that only the strong survive? Now that's from Darwin. Leon Mengeson, he was a professor of management and marketing in 1963 at the Louisiana State University. He gave us probably the greatest interpretation that I think would be applicable today. What Darwin was actually saying that those that survive are the ones who most accurately perceive their environment and successfully adapt to it. Now I'm going to say that again, but I'm going to use the word thrive because I think we'd all rather thrive than just survive, right? Okay, so those who thrive are the ones who most accurately perceive their environment and successfully adapt to it. See, adaptation is a key to survival and to business success. Now, we as leaders, we've all been adapting. Think about the last 2 years. We're adapting to new business landscapes and to client mindscapes, right? So, people right now are craving connection. They're craving, it's an evolving customer need. They're craving lightness, joy. Peggy was talking about happiness yesterday. How important is that in what we do? We're evolving, we're moving through disruptions. I mean, just look at how Brene Brown has exploded on the scene with her TED Talks on vulnerability and how vulnerability creates connection. And that connection is a direct link to business success. So, as I was listening to some of the presenters yesterday and this morning, it's funny because you might be wondering why somebody who's been in physical therapy and scar tissue therapy for the last 25 years would be talking about business strategies, right? It's a fair question. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'd like to take a couple minutes to tell you a little bit about me. And if you'd like to know more, you can catch me on Amazon Prime Video, a Speak Up series. Awesome, my buddy's here. Or if you'd like, catch me somewhere around, and I would love to give you a copy of my book, Rescue to Recovery. It's my first book. Went #1, by the way. So, thank you very much. So for all intents and purposes, I am not just an expert in scar tissue. I'm an expert in things that restrict us, things that hold us back, things that keep us from adapting, right? These are important things, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Most of my job, when I'm working with clients and when I'm working with businesses, I'm observing, I'm assessing, and I'm encouraging them. This is what I do, to help them assist from a fearful or a hesitant mindset to a mindset of boldness, of joy, of empowered forward motion. I'm a motivator. I help people be more productive. And so, most of my life, I navigated undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. From the time that I was severely burned as a young child to the years that I served in the United States Coast Guard as a boat swimmer. And at that time, it was a long time ago, because I'm probably older than a lot of folks here. But our response time back then was a lot slower. And so we picked up more lifeless bodies than we did living souls. And those traumas built on each other. That's what traumas do. They build on each other. Like what the whole world has gone through in the last 2 years, right? Constant stress, constant anxiety, constant fear, that uncertainty of the unknown, the great loss. Tristan talked about how fear shuts down the critical mind. We've all had to adapt. But here's the good news, because I'm with Peggy. I think there's a lot of good news. The good news is that we as leaders, if we so choose to engage and be a part of the process and to be vulnerable and to connect, we have an amazing opportunity to reach our clients, to reconnect with them and to meet them where they are and help them reconnect to their purpose and their goal. So we're going to talk about 3 strategies. And in my world, a strategy is very much about mindset, excellence, and wait for it, my favorite part, fun. Right? Peggy and I are like here. Fun. I'm going to give you a little overview of these. I'm going to give a little detail on those, and then we're going to talk about 3 choices that I'm going to invite each one of us that we can make today, and we can make every single day. All right? So mindset, excellence, and fun. Mindset creates direction. As you think, so you are. Those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. Right? Yes. Right. The direction of the leaders, or the mindset of the leaders, is the direction that the organization goes. Are you willing to adapt? Are you willing to move forward? Or you just want to stay in the business models that you have and hope that they get you through? It's a choice. Excellence. Excellence creates empowerment. Excellence at its very best and at its purest is empowering, and it's encouraging, and it's a language that we use. Fun. Again, my favorite. Fun creates sustainability. If you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. We've all heard that? Anybody here really believe that? I do. I have a motto that if I'm not having fun, I need to change what I'm doing. Because life is way too short. When you've had your life threatened many times, life is too short. All right? So, let's jump in. Mindset. As I said earlier, that I was severely burned when I was a young child. I was in the hospital, and the months that I was in the hospital, yes, months, not days or weeks, I was in the hospital for months. And I had the most amazing mentor. And somebody was talking about mentors, and mentors are imperative. I had the most amazing mentor, and I'm very thankful that I still have this mentor today. And that mentor is my mom. And my mom was at my bedside every single day, night, when my eyes were open or when my eyes were closed. And she spoke encouragement. She spoke positivity. And she created a belief in me that I was not only going to survive that tragedy, but that I would thrive beyond it. She created a vision. She created a little hopeful optimist. The glass is always half full. And whether you believe that the glass is half full or the glass is half empty, it doesn't really matter. Because, well, half full and half empty, it's called the ruling state of your mind. Has anybody ever heard that term, your ruling state? A man named Bob Proctor talked about it. If you want to catch him, check him on YouTube. He's amazing. But the ruling state is how it really governs how we experience life. Okay? The good news is that we can change our mind. Hence the mystery here. Okay, so I'm going to do an experiment. And you're all going to be a part of this little experiment, okay? If I can get the baggie open, we'll be doing just great. All right, so this little experiment, you're going to do one thing and one thing only, but you have to participate. You need to observe me. You see this? Everybody see this? What is it? It's a lemon. It's a lemon. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not really excited about this, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to bite into this lemon. Well, I got some giggles. So when I bite into this lemon, I just want you to imagine that you are biting into this lemon with me, okay? Here we go. Oh, Lord have mercy. All righty then. Hence this, elderberry syrup and honey. All righty. So did anybody experience anything? Anybody's mouth water? Yeah. Anybody make a face? Right? The mind is powerful. Science has told us that the mind does not know the difference between seeing something and doing something, visualizing it and actually doing it. This is why the great athletes of the world, they visualize their routine. How many people watch the Olympics? Right? Every single time that they're standing at the top of the mountain, and they did 3 runs every single time, their eyes are closed. You don't know that because they got a visor, right? But their eyes are closed and you can see them. They're going down the mountain. They're putting their mind in a position for success. They're not only firing off the neurons in their brain, but they're firing off the muscles in their body. It's amazing what mindset does and visualizing does, okay? So mindset creates direction. As you think, so you are. What direction do you want to go? What direction do you want your organization to go? What's your ruling state? Do you even ask yourself these questions? How is your mindset? Excellence. Excellence creates empowerment. And I said earlier, excellence at its best is encouraging and empowering. And it starts with language, but there's a big difference between excellence and perfection. Anybody ever work for a perfectionist? Brutal, right? Perfection by definition, I loved when Dee Dee was speaking last night. She's a definition person, I am too. Perfection by definition is without defect and without fault. And it's completely unattainable as human beings. And when it's inferred or when it's expected in a workplace, over time it will completely create disorder. But in excellence, when we're striving for excellence and we're connecting with like-minded people, it opens us up to innovation. It opens us up to creativity. It opens us up to fun, right? I used to be somewhat of a perfectionist, and it was part of the control things that I had in me. But T. Harv Eker, who's heard of T. Harv Eker? Right, amazing guy. His mentor said to him, I'm not where I want to be right now because I just don't know something yet. It was completely freeing. It made me go, oh, wow, it's a puzzle. It's just a puzzle. All I have to do is figure out what that piece is, and then you get to take the next step. But it relaxes the mind. It releases you from the pressure. Excellence creates empowerment. In its purest form, it's encouraging. Fun creates sustainability. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Fun for me, it's one of those things that like I said, if I'm not having fun, I'm going to do it. I've got 4 rules in business, and that's one of them. If I'm not having fun, we got to fix it or we got to change it. That fun, we were talking earlier about people craving connection. Well, people are really, really craving lightness right now, too. How many can attest? We're here in Vegas. How many are like, woo, let's just have some fun, right? Breathe. We want to relax. We want to have some fun. We've been in some very, very heavy times, right? Between lockdowns and COVID and wars, and we've always had these things, but we've had them a lot. We're in a pressure box right now. People are craving lightness. Napoleon Hill wrote a book called The Master Class. Amazing guy, this Napoleon Hill, man. And he wrote, if you're not engaged in a labor of love in life, you're wasting a lot of your time in life. Even if you're digging a ditch, if you love what you do, the joy of it takes the labor out of it. Joy is strength. Joy is strength. Have you ever walked into a space and you see everybody just having a great time and there's just energy? It's invigorating, and you're like, man, I just got a second wind. I'm ready to go, right? Opposite has happened, too. You walked into a place, and everybody's like, Eeyore. It's like, oh, we'll never make it, right? It's like, man, not enough caffeine in the world is going to get me out of this, right? Fun is contagious. Fun is attractive. It's very attractive to not only our employees, our teammates, but it's hugely attractive to clients, right? There's a reason why kids like clowns, unless you got a thing for them, But people are drawn to that lightness. Because we all want it, right? When we create an environment of fun for our teammates, we're creating a space where people want to be, where they want to grow, and where they want to achieve. And it's huge. The fun factor is missed by so many companies, and it's a huge factor. The guys over at Spartan, man, these guys, I think you probably ran away from corporate because you weren't having fun, right? It's just like, let's go create our own thing and let's do this. And you be faster, and you became much more productive, right? Fun creates productivity. So, fun creates sustainability. All right. So, mindset, adaptability, authenticity, fluid thinking, direction. Excellence, empowering, encouraging, connecting, and fun. I mean, come on. It's that light, contagious energy that creates sustainability. So, what if you don't have those things? And what if you do and you want to increase them? Would anybody like a little bit of help there? Awesome. I like to see hands in the air. Okay, so I'm going to offer up 3 choices that we can all make right now and every single day. You ready? Awesome. So, choice number 1, taking time out daily. Because here's the thing, it's an inside job. All of it is an inside job. I don't care if you've got 200,000 people, if you've got 2 people. If you as the leader are not doing the inside job, you're not doing them any favors and you're not bringing any value to where you are. So, taking time out daily. And I'm going to tell you a little something of what I do, and I'm going to invite you to do it if you so choose. So every single morning before I wake up, well, not before I wake up because that would be weird, but every single morning when I open my eyes, first thing I do is I say 3 things that I am grateful for. 3 things that I'm grateful for. I am a true believer that gratitude is the gateway to joy, and joy is the gateway to strength. Gratitude is the gateway to joy. So I say 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning, and I'm going to tell you, when I had PTSD, there were times that all I could do is really muster up enough to say, I'm really thankful for a roof over my head. I'm really thankful I have a warm bed. I have a warm shower today. Wow. But it set me up for a place of joy, right? Putting our mind in a position Wow, I feel like I should stand and salute. Bizarre. It's like those muscle memories, you know? So taking time out daily to do that. Now, I'm going to give you a little thing that I do as well. Anybody, I'm sure you all have just the easiest jobs and no fires ever come up, and you probably never have a hectic day. But if you do, does anybody ever have any kind of things that come up during the day that you're just like, holy crap, Batman? All right, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little technique, and I hope I can do that. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the mic over here because I can innovate and adapt. All right, here we go. Let's see how well I can adapt. There we go. Okay, so shape. And did I turn it off? No, I did not. Okay, so this is another participation thing. Everybody gets to play. Ready? Put one hand up. I don't care which one it is. It doesn't matter which one. And then you're going to take your hand like this, and you're going to run your fingertips over the palm of your hand. And what I want you to do is I want you to focus on your fingertips, on the ridges of your fingertips. So all you're going to do is focus. Now I'm going to have you block everybody out. You're going to close your eyes, and you're going to take a nice deep breath. Just take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Say one thing that you're grateful for. Find one thing that you're grateful for. Keep those fingers going across the palm. Take another nice deep breath. Right? And one more deep breath. Now open your eyes. You feel a little more calm? Feel a little more centered? This is what I call the 30-second drill. You can do this. You got a meeting that you are just like so not looking forward to. It's just like, I'll be right back. Go somewhere, 30 seconds. And Tristan touched on this yesterday. Deep breaths, 3 deep breaths, science has told us that it calms the nerves immediately. Taking deep breaths for 2 to 3 minutes, just nice breathing exercises, can completely relax you. It's a great little technique that you can do. All right? Choice number 2. I call this the language game. I've been playing this game for years now, and it's really a lot of fun, and it's a discipline. But the language game is every time I possibly can, whenever I possibly can, I try to use positive words instead of negative words. And I'll give you a little demonstration. What do you say to people when they're at your house and they're getting ready to leave? Oh, don't forget your keys. Don't forget your coat. Don't forget your purse, right? That's all they're going to do is forget their purse, their keys, and their coat. We're planting things in people's brain. We're using languaging. So what I say is remember your keys, remember your coat, and remember your purse. Because I want them to leave, I want them to go, oh, I need to remember that. I don't want them to forget it. It's just mind games that we're playing. All we're doing is planting seeds, right? The language game, encouraging people. You can always discipline somebody in an encouraging way, right? You can do that aside and take people aside and be kind in your instruction. The language game is huge. And now number 3 has a couple of components to it. Because I am in health and fitness, and it's one of my things, right? So number 3 is choices around our health. All right? First and foremost, we'll talk a little chemistry. I don't like to talk chemistry much because I'm not a chemist. However, I do know that, does anybody in here at any point in time, some days between, 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, feel like you could just fall asleep? Just nod off and see ya? That's chemistry. That's your body screaming that your blood sugar is about to drop and you're going to crash, so you better get something. And let me ask you something. What do you reach for? Bagels? Donuts? Maybe some candy on somebody's deck? Right? Coffee? Yeah. So how do we mitigate that? Well, what we do is we start 3-4 hours earlier, or even breakfast. You've heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It really is. It keeps you from either doing peaks and valleys, or if you're doing it right, you get a nice, steady, strong energy all day long. Ooh, mood lighting. This is awesome. Ready? Kumbaya, here we go. Okay. Choice, the next one is choices around exercise and sleep. Now, here's one that I really like. Did you know that exercise is 8 times more effective against depression than any medication on the market? Exercise, right? 8 times more effective against depression than any medication on the market. And I'm not talking about you got to be a gym for 2.5 hours every day. I'm talking 20 minutes a day and getting your heart rate up. It's the dopamine game in your brain. It's huge. And that goes right alongside with sleep. How many people, I know Dee Dee just walked out, which is great, how many people can say they actually get 8 hours of sleep every night? All right, you guys are rock stars. Most everybody else, the average person gets between 4, 5, and 6. Now the problem with that is that if you're eating well and you're exercising and you're putting the right stuff in the food in your body, when you're sleeping, it gets to fix things that it can't fix when you're awake, right? But you got to put the right stuff in. So there's a little trio here, a little holy trinity of health right here. So these 3 things, taking the time out daily, working on our languaging, and taking care of our physical body, because it's just like the airplanes. If you don't put your mask on, if you can't breathe, you can't help others. If you're not taking care of your health and you have other people, you have employees or clients, they're depending upon you. It's up to you to do these things. We have great, great power in our choices. We can always change our mind. We can always fix and change our ruling state. So I like to leave people with 2 questions. And they're kind of the overarching theme of what mindset, excellence, and fun is. Because you kind of have to answer these questions first. And I'm going to say these in first person because I want you to say it to you. And I'm also going to invite you to say it with me. So I'm going to say the first one first, and we're going to say it together, okay? First question. What do I want? Ready? Say it with me. What do I want? Right? And the one right on the heels of that, because you have to answer both questions, the one on the heels of that is, what am I willing to do to get there? Now I want you to say that one with me, because this is going to hold you accountable. Ready? What am I willing to do to get there? Because I truly, truly believe that if you answer these 2 questions, that you and your organization, you're going to set your mind to it. You're going to do it with excellence. And you'll be joyfully unstoppable, right? So this is my hope, is that you'll take some of these things, you'll take some of these encouragements, you'll take some of these thoughts on what is my mindset? What is my ruling state? What do I want? What am I willing to do to get it? Ethically, morally, and legally, right? It's important stuff. So that's my time today. I would love to thank you. I'd like to thank you all for your attention in this time. I'd like to thank the people that put together this convention. What a great, great group of folks. Thank you all, sound people. We've got to give you guys props. You guys are working hard. And thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
We do have time for just a few questions if anybody has any.
I'll make it up. I don't dance, not on stage anymore. That's another story for another time. Hi, Peggy.
Hello. I think we've already established we're a lot alike.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, when things are really not going well, when things are really hard, what is your one go-to strategy to totally game change everything?
I have a mantra, actually.
Uh-huh.
Especially when, forgive my French, when the shit hits the fan. The first thing that I say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed right in this very moment, because I with PTSD, I had a lot of, knee jerks. So I had to calm myself down, and I'd say nothing changed. And that gave me a moment to take a breath. So take 3 deep breaths, because when you go into panic mode, Tristan talked about fight, flight, or freeze. You can't think. You literally either fight, you flight, or you freeze. So take 3 deep breaths, clear your mind, allow your mind to be open, and then you can actually critically think at that point in time.
Okay, the second thing I'd like to say is
Yep.
I know you were a little nervous. This
Yes.
was your first keynote.
Yes, it is.
But girlfriend,
Yes.
you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Rainmaker.
Well, first, I would have never dreamed that this is your first keynote.
Oh, thank
I thought
you.
you did a spectacular job.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
The question I have is this: I use languaging a lot. I write sales copy, and I've studied language persuasion really all my life, really.
Yeah.
And what you said about language was interesting to me. It was all interesting, but I wanted to know specifically. I used to end, whenever anybody would leave the house, my mantra, especially when the kids were younger and not excellent, competent, great drivers, would be drive safe.
Yeah.
That was the last thing that they heard out of Dad's voice.
Yeah.
And often with friends too.
Yeah.
But now I've changed that mantra, and pretty much with everybody, and there's a lot of everybody's, it's after all the goodbyes and all that, it's do good, avoid evil.
Oh, that's
I'd like to
awesome.
know what you think about that.
I think it's great. I think, especially when you can encourage somebody, especially young drivers or anything like that, because it's kind of a crazy world out there.
Sure.
But giving them a peaceful place to be cognizant of doing well and moving forward and being safe. But instead of kind of drive safe, it's you say it with a smile. It's like do good. You know,
Well,
be good, be safe.
it doesn't matter who they are now.
Yeah.
Friends, clients,
Yeah.
people. If I'm telling them adios, it's do good, avoid evil.
Do good, avoid evil. Well, one of my things is, you know, it's the superpower call, right? We're going to use our powers for good and not evil. You know.
I like it.
Thank
And
you so
I
much.
loved your comments on fun.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Anybody else? All righty, it's the bitchin' beard man. That's great.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Thank you.
So I've been practicing gratitude, but I never made the connection to joy and strength, and that's a big takeaway for me. Thank you.
Okay, that's great.
But you mentioned a lot about looking inward, and I wanted to ask, what are your recommended practices for doing that?
You know, first and foremost, it really starts with gratitude. Gratitude, I think, opens the door to many things. It opens the door to, obviously, joy. It's the first step. But when you're in that space, it goes back to, is it Pathvi? Or
Partif.
Parthi, yeah. Talking about that peace. When we're at peace with ourselves, when we're comfortable and set in ourselves, I'm telling you, it opens up everything because we're relaxed and people are attracted to us. You know, we can let go of some of the angst. We can let go of, you know, what people are thinking. And one of the great things that I learned a long time ago and tried to really apply it before I hit 60. But when you're 20 and 30, you're so worried about what people are thinking. When you're 30 and 40, you really don't care much about what people are thinking. When you're 50 and 60, you realize nobody's thinking about you anyway. I mean, because everybody's thinking about themselves, right?
Right.
So when we can get over that and realize that, you know what, I'm going to do me, I'm going to be me, I'm going to take a deep breath and drop my shoulders, you know, and be grateful. Life is good, and then everything really comes to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, thanks. Do you have a book? I do have a book, yes. I have a book. I have a couple of books. My first book is called Rescue to Recovery. It's a little bit my story of years in the Coast Guard and dealing with the demons and getting over them. And you know, grab me afterwards. I'd love to just give you a book, and anybody, I've got a few, and if not, we'll get you hooked up. Is that it? I've got one more. All righty. Don't give me a mic. I can do this all day.
So I'm a little shorter, so I'm gonna have to adjust this.
I
So
feel ya.
I think that like being an entrepreneur is one of the more difficult tasks because when you have a job, you go there, you get paid, you go home. So with that comes like almost insurmountable amount of stress dealing with it. just trying to build something from nothing. What are some of the things that you do to kind of, okay, I know I love what I do, it's not work, but I got to take a break. What are some things that you do to kind of help you decompress?
I sail. I go to the ocean. But, you know, one of the things, a guy, this is really dating me, but A.L. Williams, I don't know if anybody knows that man, right? we're probably right about the same age, but he's had a great saying that I'm telling you, that really began a real shift in my life, and it's all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. And when you realize that, it's kind of the thing of the painters, you know, they got to the painting someday, right? And I'm getting the cutoff sign, so here, if you guys want to chat later, find me, I'll chat all day, I'll put a little lozenge in and we'll go, but I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. You're awesome.